Oh my goodness. So Audley, I have to tell you, I'm almost feeling emotional right now. In fact, I am,
Mm,
because everything that you said is like a message that I needed to receive this morning. So you
mm.
talked about everyone having a different path to take, and we're on this journey, and that has so much to do with the work that I do.
Welcome to the Audacious Living Podcast, hosted by my man, Audley Stephenson, the Odd Man.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the Audacious Living Podcast, where our ongoing goal is to help you live your best audacious life ever. I'm totally thrilled that you're here with us today, and I want to take this moment to thank you for spending part of your day with us. You know, each episode is an opportunity to explore themes of authenticity, connection, and growth, and I hope you leave inspired to embrace the audacity that lies within you. Now, imagine a garden, lush and vibrant, where each plant represents a relationship in your life. For a garden to flourish, it needs the right conditions, sunlight, water, and nutrients. In the realm of leadership, these conditions are curiosity, kindness, and love. When we approach our connections with a sense of wonder and a genuine care, we cultivate an environment where meaningful relationships can grow. By removing the weeds of judgment and replacing with curiosity, we can nurture deeper connections that enrich our lives and the lives of those around us. Just like a well-tended garden, authentic leadership requires ongoing attention and effort, leading to a bountiful harvest of impactful relationships. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Traycee Mayer, a dynamic leadership coach, author, and passionate advocate for authentic living. With over 15 years of experience, Traycee has dedicated her life to helping individuals and organizations embrace their unique paths and lead with love and kindness. She recently published her book, The Leadership Contradiction, which explores the profound impact of genuine connection in leadership. Traycee's expertise in leadership and her commitment to fostering authentic connections make her an ideal guest for this episode. You know, her insights on the importance of curiosity and kindness in building relationships resonates deeply within our theme about living audaciously. So now that we've got you all set and we're ready to go, let's turn to our conversation with Traycee. Enjoy. Hey, Traycee, thank you for joining me here today on the Audacious Living Podcast. I appreciate you taking the time to do this, man. Thanks for being here.
Oh, I'm so excited, Audley. I've just been waiting for this time today to have an amazing conversation.
No, it's been great, and I appreciate. I know we set this up a while ago, and
Mhm.
so it's nice that we're here to chat, and I just sort of get a charge and thrill just about engaging these types of conversations that will has the potential to positively impact someone's life in a profound way. That for me is the biggest thrill about what I get to do. I'm privileged to be able to do, and today I know you spent a lot of time in the leadership space, and I will get you to sort of talk about that, and then the connection, and the connection I think is a really, really important aspect, absolutely to leadership, but then even life in general. We are all. I truly believe that we're all on this path, right? We're all living our individual path, this journey that we're on, and the two paths will be the same, right? But we're still progressing and moving forward. And I just think it's incumbent on us to recognize that and understand that individual journey we have is one that we must own. When we own it, it's all the good stuff, right? We want all the good stuff.
Uh,
And then there's the
yes.
stuff that's kind of sucky that don't make us feel good. That's ours too. And so,
Yeah.
yeah. So maybe as
Yeah.
a starting point, I'm gonna get out of the way and give you an opportunity to give our audience a little bit to understand a bit more about yourself, Traycee, the work you do,
Okay.
what's got you to this point, and how you're changing the world.
Oh my goodness. So Audley, I have to tell you, I'm almost feeling emotional right now. In fact, I am,
Mm,
because everything that you said is like a message that I needed to receive this morning. So you
mm,
talked about everyone having a different path to take, and we're on this journey, and that has so much to do with the work that I do. And
mhm.
I have to share a little story first with you, and
Please.
that's I think why we ended up a little bit later than we had anticipated. Frequently, previously trying
Yeah.
to book this, but I just came back from Spain last
Okay.
week.
Okay.
I went to Spain to walk the Camino de Santiago.
Mm,
I decided in May. I had never heard of it before.
Mhm.
And a friend of mine who's a coach also, I've never met her in person, but she said she's going. She had gone 25 years ago and she was being called. Well, I started researching what the Camino was, and
Mhm.
that it was a journey and it is a path that people have
Yes.
walked for thousands of years.
Yes.
And I jumped all in. I just felt called. I did feel emotion attached to that. And so back in May, I jumped in, made a deposit, and started training a little bit, halfways, I would say, at the beginning, because it's hard to just get yourself to just start walking and remember, that's part of the training.
Yep.
Fast forward, there ended up being four of us who met in Spain because we had never met each other. And the primary part of the walk was 7 days consistently across northern Spain.
Mm.
There were days that I walked by myself. There were days that I met other pilgrims, as we're referred to, that were from all over the world, from different walks of life, from different cultures, speaking different languages, with different paths, kind of all culminating in Spain, and everything does. There's many paths even within France and Spain and Portugal that end up, in this one place, and it changed my life. I went there with the knowledge and awareness that um, my life is a path, and that there would be more revealed. I
Right.
turned 59 the week before I left, and I knew that this was something that was the beginning of the next part of my life. Um, and so I just want to share a little bit of that
Yeah.
because of what you talked about with the path. I wrote a book a couple of years ago, 2 years ago. It was published last October,
Mhm.
almost a year to the
Mhm.
date
Mhm.
next week. And the book is called The Leadership Contradiction: Choosing a Path of Love and Kindness.
Wow.
And I'll reflect more on that later. But as a partner of that, and I'm sorry if this sounds like an advertisement because it wasn't intended to be. It's just
Wow.
I'm so blown away um, at what you shared with me because it's
Mhm.
just tying so in with
Right.
what I've just been through.
Mhm.
In the last 15 years, I've been obsessed with pathways, and I've been taking photographs all
Okay.
over the world. I travel a lot because I'm a mountain biker and
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
a scuba diver and a hiker. Um, and it's just all tied into my leadership, into my experience, but also I'm finishing a journey of leadership. It's called the Leader Paths
Yes.
Oracle deck, and it's based on photographs I've taken all over the world of different pathways,
Mm.
and hopefully that will be out later this year or first of next year. So I'll be sure to share with you more. But yeah, when I got to the end of the Camino for us, when we were at the Santiago de Compostela,
Yes.
where everything ends, I
Yeah.
took off my boots
Yep.
and I sat them there, and I took a picture of the boots,
Yes.
and I left my boots there.
Mm.
They've been with me for about 4 years. They've traveled all over the place, and I had intentions on leaving them there, and I did because I bought a new pair of boots
Okay.
to continue on my next journey. But those boots will
What
be
does that
featured.
symbolize, Tracy? I'd love to hear what was the meaning behind that.
Yeah, so before I left, I talked with a coach of mine because even great coaches need coaches, right? So
Yes.
I
Yes.
talked to my coach, and the last question she asked me is, What is it going to look like to have both feet in one place? Symbolizing really, jumping into where the next part of my life. This is my 60th year.
Mhm.
Um, I moved this year. I have a new grandbaby. Like there's a
Mm.
lot of stuff going on in my life.
Mhm.
Published my book last year, and just really took off with my coaching business. And yeah, I'm just so open to what my paths are and what the choices are. But that's what I talk a lot about with clients.
Yes. Yes.
sometimes we feel like we don't have any choices, or things happen to us, or we, we kind of get, somebody shoves us down this path. And I'm here to say, unequivocally, that we do have choices. We have
Yes.
many paths. We may not see them initially, but if we are audacious enough, we can
Absolutely.
jump into our authentic selves.
Yes.
We can pause, we can slow down, and we can look at all those choices we have, because we have many, and we are in control of our lives for the most part.
Yes.
We can make some of those choices, yeah. So I'm like, I feel like a rocket ship right now, because
Well,
you
oh man.
you
Yeah.
just hit it on the head. I'm telling
Well,
you.
first off, thank you for sharing in the manner in which you have. It's so powerful, and I'm familiar with that journey. I haven't done the LP myself, but I've talked to several individuals who have, and echo very much sort of the sentiments that you've after the fact, where you now see whole new possibilities of what lies ahead. So that theme of pathways, it resonates here for sure on this in this conversation. And I can certainly see when you talk about your leadership work and with the coaching work that you do with the leaders, there is a strong connection to our pathways and where we go next, and being able to sit in that moment and think ahead and really be forward thinking in terms of what those next steps are. And maybe those next steps involve getting new boots, right? And preparing for that new journey. But really it's about how you equip yourself to move forward and to into the unknown. And thank you very much for plugging the word audacious, because it very much is. You have to be audacious enough to step into that. And that's where often people struggle, right? Because it's maybe there's a fear, or there's a doubt, or there's some kind of limitation, or there's something out there that's given or left a belief that I'm unable to, or I shouldn't.
Right.
I oftentimes break it down into two sort of areas, right? So if you take that first step,
Right.
And you succeed, then wonderful. You achieved what you're after. You got it. And you move on. If you take that first step and you're not successful, well, you've now garnered and learned lessons of what doesn't work, insights of perhaps how you can do it better, and you have the opportunity to do it again, right?
Absolutely.
And so the upsides and the pluses for taking that step, it's win-win-win, right? Because you are going to walk away with something. As long as you haven't, it's incumbent on you to pay attention to those lessons and be mindful that there are lessons, whether you're victorious or in the defeats. So be mindful of the lessons, I would say.
Oh, 100%. I couldn't agree with you more. And I do think it's a win-win-win. I don't think there's any downside to taking a step.
Right.
Even if there's fear or apprehension, or just maybe something tells you, gosh, this can't be the right step. Then that means there's probably something for you to learn. And, the value and lessons are often more powerful and more important than just things going smoothly.
Right.
I tend to look at life that anything that is potentially painful or fearful or didn't feel all that good, that there is a absolute diamond hidden in that. And I also believe, and I was just talking to a gal I was coaching yesterday, that, you know what, we don't have to make all the mistakes in the world for us to move forward. If we pay attention and we learn to listen better, and that's one of my jobs as a coach, is to listen really well and help, and even help the people that I coach, help them, I'll listen to them. And I've learned to listen, I've been trained to listen, and I'll listen to what they're saying. I'll see their body language. And a lot of times I can feed back to them things that have heart and meaning that they didn't even realize that they were saying. Right. So, so I see them, I hear them, and I give it back to them so that they can know where they're at. So they don't have to, try to figure it out. That's my job as a coach, is to help them do that. And often, again, I remember telling her yesterday, let me share with you some of my mistakes. I don't have any fear of going back and saying, yeah, I did that wrong, because I know I can help someone else. And so a big part of my journey as well is to help other people along the way, because it's not just
Yes.
about me.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
fact, very
Yes.
much not. I mean, I feel like that is my journey, is helping to lift others up and helping to develop them and helping to show them that there's a number of ways, and that's where the connection comes in, right? We build this trust, we build this
Yep. Yep.
understanding. Yeah, and when we connect with one another and realize that we're not all that different. There's so many things that connect each of us as human beings. And I'm telling you, it was oddly that the one of the most impactful, and my brain just went back to the Camino, the
Mm-hmm.
last day and a half of the Camino. So you've got people coming from southwestern Spain down, towards Portugal, or you got people that came from France up in the northeast and everywhere in between, right? And some people have been traveling for 5 or 6 weeks, some of them that have done the longer versions. But that last day and a half is where all the paths start combining. And it'll blow your mind to see people. There's people walking with canes. There's
Mm-hmm.
people that are holding hands walking. There, I saw 2 ladies with a baby that I asked, and they told me she was 14 months old and she was walking. They were holding her hand. There's people laughing. There's people crying. But the point of it is that these people are coming from all directions, but that's just representative of the fact that they're coming from different cultures, different parts of the
Yes.
world,
Yes.
likely don't speak the same language,
Yep.
aren't in the same place in their life, but everything coming together in one. And it's the
Yes.
biggest representation I've ever seen and may ever see of that we are all one and we are all connected. So, gosh, I just wanted to share that with you because
I'm smiling.
connection.
I keep smiling as you're talking. I'm smiling. I'm beaming. I'm excited because I on side believe and feel that is the starting point. Any sort of collective success.
Yes.
It's that connection, that human connection that you're
Yes.
talking about.
100%. Yeah.
It just yeah. I'm getting goosebumps as I'm talking here, really, because it really is that impactful. I want to stay on this topic
Okay.
of connection. Certainly, there's things like, and so what I think would be really helpful if
Mhm.
listeners, the audiences understood how easy it is to, I say easy, how common, maybe no, I like the word easy. Let's go back to easy. Easy connection can be
Okay.
when you are bearing in mind key elements. So you talked about trust as an example, right? I would add, so being open, honesty. There's just so many different elements that feed and support our ability to connect as humans. I wonder if you sort of talk about some of the things that, from your perspective, for audience.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So, connection. For me, connection, it's a skill that we can develop.
Yes. Yes.
I think that it can be easy at the beginning, if you're willing to venture into that realm, right? I am a certified edge walker also, and I won't get into the details of that right now, but an edge walker is someone who builds bridges and kind of can be on the edge of many places, cultures,
Mm-hmm.
situations. And as a certified edge worker, connection is one of the skills that I do have high awareness of that in me. And the word that comes to me that helps drive connection is curiosity. I think that we really miss out if we don't put ourselves in the place of being curious about other
Yeah.
human beings.
Yeah.
We're so quick to judge. And I'm saying myself included,
We all do.
that's
Tracey, we
something
all,
I've worked on over
yes,
the years
yes,
because, we're just too quick to judge. I don't know
yeah.
how we learned that, or that's just inherent in human beings, but we need to be quicker to be curious.
Mm,
Um, being at a supermarket or, whatever, it could be anywhere in the world you pick, right? Walking through the park.
yes.
Think of that other person who you've never seen, never met, and just be curious about
Yeah.
them.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Because the
Right.
chances are how we judge somebody by maybe mere appearance or whatever will probably be so far from the truth
That's right.
of
Right.
who that individual really is. And, through the last 2 years and particularly leading up to writing my book, kind of in the middle of COVID, um, I just started playing with that idea that, humans were so separated for one thing because of COVID, but um, I I just wanted to be curious and I wanted to connect with others and people were in tears from simple comments that I would make asking how they were or you know saying wow you did a great job today. I mean there's so much that we can offer one another to be connected and it
Right.
back to your comment about it being easy, it isn't hard to say something nice to someone.
That's it. That's why I
It
went back to the
isn't
word easy, right? That's why I went, right? That's why I changed my mind and said, no, it is easy, but
it
you've got
is
to do
easy.
it.
It is easy. I mean,
Yeah.
we could get deeper and all of that, but it's not even necessary. There was this story that I share in my book about it's been a couple of years and I was in the about this time of year, right? Because this is when all the pumpkin spice comes out, in the
Mm,
various coffee shops and all of that, right? And I was in a drive-through, and this is when I lived in California, which was I just moved to the Midwest earlier this year, and that's a whole other story. But I um I was in line in the drive-through and I could hear the cars ahead of me in such a nasty way yelling at the girl at the drive-through because they ran out of that pumpkin
right.
spice syrup.
Right.
So I knew prepared ahead of time that I was not going to get that, right? That's what I came for, but it wasn't going to be available. So when I finally drove up and 3 or 4 cars back, I looked at this poor young lady and she just was about ready to crack, right?
Mm,
um and I said to her, I said, I heard that you don't have the pumpkin spice, and I was looking forward to that, but tell me what else you have. And she goes, well, you could do. I said, you know what? That sounds perfect. I'll have that. And she kind of started to smile and went about her thing and brought my coffee back. And I gave her this little card that I give out called Thoughtfuls, and I keep them in my briefcase, my car, my purse, and all this. And it's just a
mhm,
little card that you crack open, and it's got a positive message.
mm,
And this young lady just, you know, was so emotional right there. And I just, and I'll never see her again. I don't know what her name was.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But it was that moment that I made the connection with her. I didn't have to even give her the card. All I had to do was to be nice and to,
Yes. Yes.
you
Yes.
know, so yeah, back to that ease, just I challenge people out there, practice being kind, practice being curious,
Yes.
practice
Yeah.
how simple and easy it can be to connect to another human being. And it's not always going to be perfect, but I can promise you, if you do it enough times, enough will surprise you that you realize there is a whole universe out there of other human beings. We need to stop focusing only on ourselves, because we get to learn so much cool stuff and we get to
Yeah. Yeah.
experience so much amazing things from other people.
we
Yeah.
we give ourselves an opportunity to expand our knowledge,
Mm,
our perspective, our horizons, but that doesn't happen without that connection. And a couple of things that you identified,
mm,
both the curiosity and kindness resonate with me big time. I
mm-hmm,
truly believe that it's impossible to maintain judgment while being curious at the same time. It's
mm,
one or the other. It has
mm-hmm,
to be one or the other. And um, I've always um, been inquisitive in nature. And
mm-hmm,
so I think the curiosity is a natural progression. And And
Right.
it's also a great skill for a podcast host too, right? But it's something that I think is important to be able to do. And here we've been talking for however long we've been, and we haven't got into your leadership work really into that yet because of all these other curious, interesting things that we've been able to uncover. And there's no
Right.
question in my mind that we've offered value already. We could stop now, and there's been value. And so, but that's what we taught when we talk about that being maintain curiosity and inquisitiveness, and the kindness is just, you know, if we can look for opportunities to demonstrate kindness. I love the
Hmm.
story of the drive-through. I mean, every so often, I'm a drive-through. I'll pay for the car, but coffee in the car behind me, and I'll scoot off, and they'll never ever be able to catch me, and they'll never be able to repay me back. I don't even need a
Hmm.
thank you because I'm not doing that for that. It's
Right.
creating an opportunity to spread out those positive ripples, right, and
Yes.
spread them. And so now the story of the person that had their coffee paid for was like, oh wow, this stranger paid for my coffee and I had no idea who they were and I didn't get a chance to thank them. You
Right.
now have that opportunity. So you now have that opportunity to do something with that positive energy that was given to you,
Right.
right?
Right.
And you could
Right.
bury it in a hole and let it sit there, or you can spread it. And so I think those are two wonderful things. And then what that does, it circles back, it brings us closer together and helps with
Hmm.
the connection. So um
Yeah.
definitely
That
on
that's
board.
Yeah, that's a beautiful story, and I love that. I've heard somewhere somebody was, counting how many times people kept passing it backwards, like on the drive-through.
Mm,
And yeah, the curiosity, the audacity to actually step forward, and I do love your word.
thank you.
I think just trying it, and you know that person behind you will get satisfaction, but the feeling that you get of like you
Yes.
just interacted with another human being, that wasn't expecting that, and because we all expect, something bad is going to happen. I want to touch on a couple things because the folks that I coach, and I coach in a lot of different realms, but I do private coaching and group coaching as well, and corporate senior levels, leaders and stuff. But I always tell them, do not use the word should, could, or would, because I think that when we think about being curious or we think about connecting with another person, we make it hard, right? And then we walk away and go, oh, I should have said this. I could have said that. Maybe I would have had a conversation with them, and I say, take those words out of your vocabulary. Shoulda,
Yes.
coulda, woulda. If you ever have regrets, because that's a kind of a regretful set of words. If you ever feel that, then whatever it is you should have done. But I also try to do so. Yeah, so that's a thing. I just wanted to share that with you because it stood
Mm,
out, and it's ingrained in me. Just try to not use shoulda, coulda, woulda. Just do it.
love
And
it.
then I wanted to talk about, the leadership, because I know that you wanted me to talk about that. So, to me, connection is leadership. So it is a perfect segue. It's a perfect time to say this is all part of the same. And the reason I say that is, um, we, my book, The Leadership Contradiction.
Mhm.
Um, I had a conversation on the plane back from Spain, last week, and this gal was sitting there, and she was reading a book, and I ended up sitting next to her, and we had to talk because we were both in the exit row, and she saw my book, and she said, "What does that mean, the leadership contradiction?" And I said, it is, to me, a leader's lack of connection
Mm,
with the people that they lead,
mhm. Yep.
which I believe disqualifies them from being a leader. Now, this could be a leader in a corporate environment. This
Sure.
could be a
Sure.
leader, yeah, it could be a leader, in a community, in a church, in a family. All of those things. It makes that person the boss, which I don't like that word because it's like, they just want to kind of control you and tell you what to do, and it's really about them, as opposed to a real leader connects with the people they lead. And in my opinion, strongly, I believe with love and kindness. We got away from that a number of
Yes.
years ago because we felt
Yes.
that love could not be in the workplace. Love could not
Right.
be,
Right.
with connection with someone that, is of the opposite sex or what have you. And I say, poo-poo to all of that. Because love is human love. Love is the way that we were built and intended to connect with others. And love, if you want to kind of, dilute it down, love is kindness. Love is respect. Love is just that the human connection.
Yes.
And so that's really kind of, just to get us tapped into that. That's how I feel about leadership. I think leadership is truly when we connect with the people that we lead, and the people they lead, and so on and so forth, in a very authentic way.
Yeah, yeah, and authenticity is a very, very important part of it, that we are looking to connect and really being real with ourselves and who we are, and maybe coming down from that pedestal that we might put ourselves up on because we're a leader or whatever our title calls us, and just looking for real ways to connect, because in the end, that will drive the mission forward. That
Mm-hmm,
is what will be the difference maker when,
mm-hmm.
in a pinch where you as a leader turn to your people and say, we need to get all in, and that connection not being there, that'll be the difference. Them checking and going, no, no, my time's done, versus rolling up our sleeves and what else do we got to do to make this happen.
Mm-hmm,
um
mm-hmm,
I've seen lots of examples in my life, personal and professional, where
mm-hmm.
has remained to be the case. And so, your message is loud and clear, and it resonates in a major way because it is powerful. It really, really is.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. It's funny. We started this conversation not really saying we're going anywhere. We just said, let's talk. And we've done just exactly that. And I'm so grateful and appreciative of that. And I do love the way, the title of it, the Leadership Contradiction, because that will naturally say, well, what is the contradiction? And the
Mm-hmm.
contradiction is at the core of what people or what leaders aren't doing if
Right,
they are in that title. So that therein lies where the contradiction is. And I think you've done a
right.
masterful way of sort of getting that message out.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm sometimes it's just making a small change,
Sure.
uh, in us as leaders, but also the awareness of the individual who's being led. I mean, at the end of the day, we all have, even in my senior leadership roles in large corporations, I
Mhm.
reported to the president of the company,
Yep.
sometimes, I still had a boss. Um, I have a whole chapter in my book or dedicated to the leadership contradiction, and it happened to be reflective, on something not too long ago, when I left the corporate world, and it was painful, and I talk about, fear versus flow,
Mm.
dark versus light, alignment versus disconnection. So, I can list, and did, lots of words that show leadership versus other words that show the contradiction. And again, I feel like this applies to all of our life, our families, our neighbors, the communities, groups that we belong to. And, I think it's important for us to start paying attention to bring back civility and,
Mm.
again, curiosity and authenticity. We should be the same person at work or at play or whatever it is that we do all the time. We, I feel like I was raised to be different people at different places,
Right.
you got to be this way at work, and I don't believe that. I absolutely don't. And that's based on 43 years of leadership. I left the corporate world a little over a year ago, and just took off full time with my business, You Leadership, which is, about being you, being authentic, leading with love,
Mm.
um, that corner office I'd strived for for 40 years, with the big title and
Yep.
making lots of money. Like none of that is even relevant anymore.
No.
To me, value in life is seeing other people thrive. It's seeing other people go, wow, I don't have to suffer and do that thing anymore where I'm expected to be like this at work and like this at home. I just want to relax. I just want to be me, and that's what I help people do, regardless of where they're at in their lives. Um, sometimes it just takes someone giving you permission and
Right.
saying it's okay. And let's look and see how amazing you are as a human, because you're the only one of you.
Yes. Yeah.
Oddly, you're the only one of you. And
Yeah.
we're so lucky to have you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I would say the same to you, Tracee. You've done a
Yeah.
wonderful job, and congratulations. I didn't realize it was so newly you left the corporate world, but congratulations on making that leap and being audacious enough to take that step forward. I mean, quite frankly, I guess I talk about, when how important it is to take those steps forward. And if you really look at it, you not doing that, we don't talk today. We're not here talking today. Someone else who hears our words isn't getting the opportunity to add value to their own lives. So there is a natural connection to our actions, and I think as long as we're mindful of that, and that everything that we do matters. We're not understanding that exact moment, but everything we do matters, makes a difference. And so I'm so glad that you shared that. For listeners, I wanted to get their own copy of the Leadership Contradiction, or even connect with you directly, Tracee. Where can we send them?
Absolutely. So my website has everything on it. And then my website is beuleadership.com. So it's BEYOU leadership.com. On there, you can find a place to buy my book and get some more information about it, and it'll take you directly to Amazon. You can also find, I think on every page, there's a button that says Talk with Tracee. Or you can go to talkwithtracee.com, and my name is spelled differently. So if you just want to go to the website and then click on one of those buttons. And I have 30-minute free coaching sessions where I can just chat with somebody. Sometimes it's one thing that is important to someone that I can help them, give them an answer, or maybe one problem. And and certainly when I first get a chance to know someone like you, and I'm excited, very excited about our talk. I think we might be able to have volume 2 and 3, actually. We'll talk
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it.
But usually the first person that does book a 30-minute session with me and say they met me on the Audacious, I'll usually turn that into 1 hour, and which is a great value, and I just I get to walk away from there feeling like I've helped someone, and that's the blessing that I've been given. So
thank you. Yeah. Thank you for doing so. Tracee, this has been an absolute delight and a pleasure. I appreciate you sharing the manner in which you have. Congratulations on the great work, and thank you for being a guest today on the Audacious Living Podcast.
And thank you for having me. I appreciate you, and I appreciate the work that you're doing, Audley. It's a pleasure to meet you, and this was just so much fun.
Same here. Be well.
You too. Bye-bye.
Back we are here on the podcast, and much thanks and appreciation goes out to Tracee for being here. During our conversation, she emphasized that true leadership is about connecting with the people we lead. She shared powerful stories from her recent journey to the Camino del Santiago, illustrating how the act of being present and curious can create profound connections with others. I personally love the way Tracee highlighted the importance of vulnerability in leadership, reminding us that embracing our authentic selves allows others to do the same. This creates an atmosphere of trust and openness that is essential for meaningful relationships. I encourage you to connect with Tracee directly. You can find her at her website, BU Leadership youleadership.com, where you can also access her coaching services and learn more about her work. Be sure to check out the show notes for additional contact details and links. Tracey's actually offering a special opportunity for listeners of the Audacious Living Podcast. The first person to book a 30-minute coaching session with her can enjoy an extended hour-long session providing invaluable insights and support on their leadership journey. Don't miss out on this special chance to connect and grow, because certainly is a great one. I want to thank Tracee for doing so. I also want to thank you as our listeners for being here on this edition of the Audacious Living Podcast. As always, I hope you found inspiration in our conversation and feel empowered to cultivate authentic connections in your own life. If you've enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, or share with people you think that might take something from this, because of course, this is how we grow. So I want to thank you in advance. Together we'll just continue to create these positive ripples in the world. Until next time, stay safe, be kind, show love to one another, and be audacious.
You've been listening to the Audacious Living Podcast, hosted by Audley Stephenson. If you enjoyed what you heard, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, be audacious.